Welcome again. It is your man, Brother Minister. Black folks, this is a brand new video on a brand new channel on YouTube. I realize it's going to be majorly difficult to break in and get mass views here, but I am counting on just reaching 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 10 with this brand new channel here in November, almost December of 2022. And specifically, Black folks, I want to talk to you, the masses. The reason I want to talk to you is because this country is falling down around you. It's falling down around us. And we seem to be distracted with what Beyonce or Jay-Z or Kanye West or NBA Steven football. We seem to be distracted with everything except what matters, and that is your survival. If you have noticed, and I know most of you listen to CNN and MSNBC, if you listen to news at all, and I'm going to be very blunt with you. I have to. And just so you know, yes, I am one of your church leaders, one of your community leaders, one of your pastors. You can find out who I am sooner or later. I'm sure you will. However, you are not prepared for what is coming. You're not prepared from a resource standpoint. You're not prepared mentally, and you're sure not prepared spiritually. And I know that because as I look across the landscape of YouTube channels, and I've been on YouTube since probably 2006. When you look over the landscape of YouTube, and you know all of my channels have gotten millions and millions of views. But when you look across the landscape of YouTube, I hear white folks talking about preparing yourself for nuclear war, preparing yourself with food stores stored up so you don't have to be one of those lemons that are just running over the edge trying to get to the grocery store to buy some food when this thing hits the fan. But I don't hear any of our community leaders or any of certainly our church leaders talking about it, because church leaders have their own vested interest in robbing your pockets anyway, they say on behalf of God. But I'm in the back offices with them, and I know what they are, and I know what they're doing. Nevertheless, what have you done to prepare either you or your family when nuclear war starts? You see that, and some of you don't. That's what's really shocking. That is what's really shocking. Some of you don't. Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden and that fool president in Ukraine, Zelensky, they are on the brink of nuclear war. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he actually called for the West to get involved through NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is a conglomeration of 29 Western countries, pretty much European countries. There's some non-Europeans there too, to start fighting or start a war with Russia, because supposedly Russia launched a missile into Poland. Poland's a NATO country, and there's this agreement in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, this conglomeration of 29 countries. If you attack one of them, you attack all of them. So you attack one of them, all of them go to war. Ukraine isn't even in NATO, so who knows why the United States is really over there. Probably money, robbing, whatever it is they're doing. They're hiding something. I mean, you're going to blow the whole country up. You go for a country most of us don't even know and have no vested interest in. They're hiding something. U.S. is hiding something there. They have to be. That's just how white folks roll. I used to work for them, so I know what they do. I used to work for the government. I know what they do. I'm saying this to point out is that you have to understand, Black folk, that the majority of us first live on the East Coast, and then other large majorities of us live within inner cities. Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, Detroit, that's kind of, they kind of clearing the riffraff out of there right now. They cleared the riffraff out of New Orleans as well. Well, and I say riffraff because that's what they believe about us. So the majority of us, New York City, the Bronx, Harlem, the majority of us live in these cities. And what you have to understand, even in Omaha, the majority of us live in these cities, and even in Des Moines. What you have to understand, Black folks, is when you should look, and I'm going to flash a nuclear map up in front of you right now. And what you're going to notice on this nuclear map is where nukes from either China or Russia or whoever lobs them over here at us are going to land. And what you see here is most of these are landing in cities where you live. So what does that mean? I know this because we used to live about 8 years ago. We moved to a Midwestern state from Denver, Colorado 8 years ago. We used to live really close to the Denver International Airport, and there's something weird going out there at the Denver International Airport. So, and one of the nuclear target strikes is the Denver International Airport because they're building something under there. Something's going on under there. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but something's under the Denver International Airport. But one of the nuclear strike sites is there. And guess who lives right next to the airport? People like me, people like us, black folks. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, black folks. In this introductory video, which I want to just be 9 minutes or less, you've seen that nuclear weapons, when they start flying, and they're going to start flying because these white folks are crazy. These white folks done lost their minds. They just have. They've gone from trying to destroy us to trying to destroy Arabs to now they're trying to destroy each other. This MAGA Republican Democrat thing, don't get caught up in that either. I'm going to shoot a video here really quick on Democrat versus Republican too. But I'm saying this is when these nuclear missiles start flying, black folks, you are the ones that are going to be killed the most. If you look at data with respect to African-American city populations versus white folks where they're not gentrifying us. That means a lot of these cities, now Denver, Colorado is actually one of those cities where the real downtown Denver, they pushed us out into poor suburbs. The real downtown Denver, the prices when we left was spiking so high that most black people are too poor to live there. So they ran us kind of out of there. And if you live in one of those cities too where they're gentrifying, but it's not going to matter because the problem becomes when a nuclear weapon hits black folks, you are going to be the ones that are going to die at a clip of 4 black folks to every white person. That's just how it is. So the question becomes, why aren't you preparing yourself to get out of? Why are you, well, we got a job there. Well, your job worth your life? So even in certainly in Chicago, where that is just a war zone, I don't understand how any black person is staying in Chicago right now. I know some of us got to stay, but I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. And I say that because, you know, I lived in a poor black area when I was 18. I was in foster care, y'all. And the truth was I aged out and I didn't have any options. I went to the Marine Corps, which was a desperate move back then. But I understand that if you wanted to, you could pick up and leave. So I'm telling you right now, y'all need to do 2 things, or consider 2 things. The first is getting out of there. Most of y'all ain't going to do that. We found that out in New Orleans. In New Orleans, during Katrina, we found that out black folks couldn't leave for a lot of reasons. And most of them didn't have, the ones that died, I talked to some people from down there. Most of them didn't have money to leave. They didn't have relatives. Nobody came to see about them. And most of them were old black people too. So I'm saying, so most of us aren't going to get out to cities. So the second part of that before in this video is, how are you preparing yourself? Are you getting food? Are you getting water stocked up? Because those little funky groceries you got in your apartment, or you got in your house, how long do you think that's going to last? 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, maybe? You need to start storing food. Now, in a video to come, the next video, I'm going to talk to you about some options for us, for black people who cannot go out and spend $2,000 on some freeze-dried food that lasts 25 years. Now, our family just bought 200, you know, we bought a couple $100 of it at a time. But even then, that food is only going to last so long, black folks. And the truth is that not only are you going to be like these other fools out there bum rushing the grocery store where there's no supplies? The second part of that becomes this, is that there's going to be nothing available when you get there. And then people are going to be shooting, people are going to be fighting. You know how ignorant we get about nothing. Imagine when there's food fights in the grocery store. What are you going to do? See you in the next video.